All right, guys, what's up? We're back for another Money morning. How you doing, Andrew?
Good. Good morning, Richard. Good morning.
Looking all dapper in your nice shirt. So today we're going to be dealing with looks like a slightly older Dave Ramsey video. I've seen this pushed around on social media in the last week in like clip reels. It seems to be like a 2-minute clip, but I found the full 9-minute call in with a 29-year-old woman that has $1 million in debt. So I thought it'd be interesting to have a listen to this and offer some commentary. Somebody was asking last week, and it's been asked, before, what I think of Dave Ramsey, debt avalanche, snowball, whatever his method, seems to be. And I've mentioned before, I'm not a big fan, and I guess we're going to find out why in this clip here of Ramsey. So I'll put it up on the screen, and we'll have a listen. And again, the purpose of this is not to put anybody down. This is to simply react and respond to commentary that's already out there on the internet. So let's hop into this right now and hit play.
Channing is with us in Washington, D.C. Hi, Channing. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for having me.
Sure. What's up?
So I live in D.C. I just recently got married about 3 months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And my husband and I have really decided we need to be really focused on the same page about our finances. We actually have our first class of financial peace this evening.
Oh, cool.
So for those of you watching that don't know what they're talking about, Financial Peace is like one of his courses or universities. I think it's called Financial Peace University or something like that. And it's essentially designed to help people with their financial literacy. But let's keep going.
But together we have probably just under $1 million in debt, and we want to know how to get debt-free without filing bankruptcy.
Okay. How much of that is a mortgage?
The mortgage, about $210,000.
So you have $600,000 in what?
$335,000 is about in student loans. We both have advanced degrees.
Sorry, I'm just jotting this all down. So 335 student loans, advanced degrees.
And the rest is really credit cards and personal loans.
So you have $300,000 of credit cards and personal loans?
We have about 335,000 student loans and about 136,000 in credit cards, 44,000 personal loans, and 35,000 car loans.
Okay. How old are you all?
I'm 29.
Okay. So what in the world?
So, yeah.
I mean, are you both on this, or is this just one of you that's completely lost your mind?
Well, I have the majority of the student loans, and he has the majority of the credit cards. My credit card debt is not great.
Okay, so why does he at 29 years old run up $100,000 in credit card debt?
Well, he's 32, but I think it's one of those things where just making really poor financial decisions, thinking be able to pay it down as you go, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
This is a trap people fall into because the credit card companies don't encourage you to charge and pay off the balance. Entire strategy, the entire marketing campaign, the whole "you've got way more money than you can possibly think" narratives that you hear out there are designed to essentially convince you to just make your minimum monthly payments. This is where a lot of people end up.
Okay, so you both have advanced degrees. What are your degrees in?
We do. So I have a degree, both of our advanced degrees. No, he has an MBA and I have an advanced degree in policy. I work in the government, and we actually...
Again, keep in mind, they live in Washington, D.C., and they both work for the government right now.
Both do now at this point, actually.
Okay, so your household income is what?
Our household income is about $230,000.
Okay, all right. Is there recognition on both of your parts how absurd this situation is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is.
Right.
So I think we're both...
She's enrolled into his course. She's calling in on his show. I think she knows she's got a problem. Yeah.
both a bit scared and want to do anything we can to avoid.
Okay, great. Then I'm on your team. I can skip that step. Okay, go ahead. Okay, well, you're scared, and you should be. You're disgusted, and you should be.
We are.
You're in the early stages of being sick and tired, and you should be. So here's the thing. You guys have been living at across the board, from your education choices to your car purchases to your whatever.
Did you happen to hear him ask if the value of the property was stated? I didn't hear. I just got mortgage debt for $210,000, but they didn't say the value of the property.
Just a mortgage balance, no value of the property.
See, that's an important question to ask. That's one of the first questions you ask when you're talking to somebody that has mortgage debt is, okay, your mortgage is $210,000. What's the value of your property on the market today? right? And that way you can figure out the loan to value. Maybe there's a way to do a equity fine. I mean, the property value could be $1 million. This problem solved very, very easily, right? But we don't know what that is. He didn't ask that question.
Yeah.
You've been living at about 10x where you're going to get to live for the next 3 years.
Okay. Yep, that's true.
So I'm getting ready to destroy your life as you know it, because your lifestyle is considerably above your extremely good income, and has been for a period of time. And so you've gotten used to spending like you're in Congress.
Right.
This is going to be very emotional for y'all. And you're going to have to look at it through that lens and through a spiritual lens, or you're not going to make it. You're going to have to not care what anyone thinks, including each other, because you're not going to spend any money on anything ever for the next 3 years. Like you've been spending, let's pretend you're.
Let me just ask you a question, Andrew. He's saying not spending a dime of convenience money in anything for the next 3 years. You have an income of $230,000 and you're servicing close to $1 million worth of debt, $310,000 in mortgage, $335,000 in advanced degrees, $136,000 in credit cards, $44,000 in loans, $35,000 in car loans. Do you think you can pay that off in 3 years by not spending anything on like a pack of gum or a Starbucks coffee?
Doesn't sound like it. It all depends on what kind of strategy he's going to roll out here to eliminate this debt. But the mortgage you need to pay, the car loan you need to pay. You can't do much about the student loans because I'm not familiar with the bankruptcy legislation done in the U.S. to Chapter 11s and Chapter 7s. But here, you can't do anything about a student loan until you've finished the program for 7 years. And if it's an advanced degree, it's likely this person hasn't finished school until 24. Give or take. So 7 years from 24 is 31. She wouldn't be able to do anything about that student loan here in Canada. So, like I said, you got to wait.
I think it's the same rule in the U.S. You can't discharge a student loan in a bankruptcy. I don't even think they've got the 7-year rule. I think it's basically into perpetuity, if I'm understanding it. Somebody in the comments will obviously, correct me, but we're not American. But let's keep going to see what else he's got here on this.
Yeah,
making 210, and I know you just got married, but let's pretend you've been doing this as a couple as you went along. You've been making 210, spending 310. I'm getting ready to put you on 30.
Okay.
You're not going to see the inside of a restaurant unless it's your extra job, or you're waiting on some of the people you work with during the day.
Okay.
This is how humbling this is going to be.
Quite.
It's going to crush a lot of crap in your soul that caused you to do this. So the bad news is it's going to be really rough. The good news is it's going to be great for you guys relationally, spiritually, and financially.
I love how he says it's going to be great for you guys on a relationship level. The number one cause for divorce is money problems. He's actually suggesting this will be good for your marriage, dealing with this money problem. But let's keep going.
But you're not going to make the financial unless you make the relational and the spiritual move, because I know you guys because I was you guys. This is exactly what I did. It's exactly what I did in my 20s. I bought and purchased a lifestyle that was 5 to 10x what I had.
Yeah.
And it was all because of crap inside of me that caused me to do that.
Right.
And all of that has to be destroyed to fix it.
Absolutely.
Is this making any sense, or is this too brutal?
No, it's making a lot of sense, and it's brutal.
I'm warning you what's coming, okay? This is not a math problem.
It is a math problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Debt
totally
is a basic math problem, dude.
Yeah.
That's what debt is. It's a fundamental math problem. You can't do math. That's what it is. Anyway, let's keep going.
Math problem is the symptom. The problem is what's going on inside of you guys. So the great news is you're very smart people. And if you will apply that intellect to solve.
How does he know they're smart? Because they have advanced degrees?
Exactly. They have advanced degrees. They must be smart.
Well, they're
clearly
have an advanced degree in creating a lot of debt, too.
They might be book smart. They might be book smart.
This problem as if it were a policy problem or a business problem, you can solve the problem. But the lens by which the problem will be solved is through spiritual contentment. Godliness with contentment is
okay. I'm not a religious person. I don't subscribe to any organized religion. This is where Ramsey throws a lot of people off too. Like, debt is a math problem. It is a mathematical issue. It has got nothing to do with religious beliefs, commitment to whatever organized religion that you subscribe to. Just want to make that clear. Debt is just a math problem.
Great gain. Translation, you're going to pull up at a stoplight driving a piece of crap car next to people that have an income a fourth of yours with a nicer car than yours.
Right.
And you're not going to care. That's going to be the cool part.
Okay.
You're going to reach the point you don't care what other people think. And that might be a fair journey for you or him. I don't know which one it is, but some of you guys you've been purchasing a lot of stuff for a lot of reasons that are going to change.
Yep, they have to.
Yeah, they have to, because you're on a suicide mission right now.
Oh.
I mean,
his credit cards are actually bundled with one of those like debt relief programs where we put a pot of money with them and then they negotiate on your behalf. So we're not even paying on the bulk $124,000 of the credit cards right now.
Yeah, you're going to probably have to pull out of those.
What do you think of that piece of advice, Andrew?
Well, to be honest with you, so far, I think we're about halfway through this guy's video, actually almost 2/3 through his video, and he's not getting to the stem of any of this problem. He's not digesting what the issue is. He is just ranting on about spiritual and mathematical and changing your lifestyle. He's got like 3 minutes left in this video. Like, I really don't understand how he's going to be helping this person without getting any fundamentals of the issues. He hasn't spoken about, you know, like you said, the value of the house. What vehicles are you driving? What is the monthly payment on this vehicle? How was the debt incurred? Because if there's like $200,000 of unsecured credit cards and loans, what was that incurred on? Maybe it was the wedding. Maybe they went all out on $100,000 wedding and they blew half their money on that.
Who is it owed to? How much are the interest rates on the credit
exactly?
cards?
He hasn't gone through anything, and all he's saying is you need to change your budget, you need to change your finance, you need to change your situation, your lifestyle. And he's got 3 minutes left. So let's see what he has to say with these final 3 minutes.
Let's go, baby. Let's do this.
Out of that, I don't know how quickly, but the problem with those people is they don't follow through, and they administratively are really, really, really pitiful.
So now he's just disparaging the debt settlement industry. So let me just back this up. I want to play this again for you, Andrew, so you hear the whole bit without me cutting it off.
The bulk $124,000 of the credit cards right now.
Yeah, you're going to probably have to pull out of those. Out of that, I don't know how quickly, but the problem with those people is they don't follow through, and they administratively are really, really, really pitiful. They're incompetent. And so you're going to find the concept of what they pitched you is not completely bad, but you're going to find their follow through it will make your bones chill. So you're probably going to pull back out of those. But then we're just going to list these debts, smallest to largest. What's the home?
Pause. Well, here we go. But pause.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's suggesting that the debt settlement industry is pitiful and incompetent and cannot do what they suggest and promise they can.
Are you pitiful and incompetent, Andrew?
I am surely not.
What you do?
I am surely not. I've been doing this for 20 years approximately. I am very well rehearsed in how this works.
You know, last time I checked, when I was involved in the regular, day-to-day parts of the business, Total Debt Freedom had settled well over $250 million worth of Canadian credit card debt. That doesn't sound like incompetent or pitiful to me.
Yeah, it's again, he might not have any experience in the industry, or he might have only heard the bad stories from the bad apples that you're surely going to get in any industry, and he's just wiping that across the whole spectrum of the financial sector, saying every debt settlement company, they're incompetent, they don't do what they need to do, and I'm sure that is the truth of some businesses, but it's not the truth for every business. And it depends on where you're located and what your status is within that, community. And for example, for us in Canada, we've been doing this for 20 years in Canada. We had American players come up to Canada 10 years ago plus, and they didn't have a clue what they were doing. So because you're not familiar with the systems, it might lead you to not knowing what you're doing. But here in Canada, we are very well rehearsed and we are very knowledgeable in what we're doing.
All right, so let's give him his last couple of minutes and see what solution pops off this.
What's the home life, you said?
No, what is your home worth?
Oh, my home worth. Oh, I think that, let's see, according to Zillow, the home is worth about $300,000.
Okay, so you have a little bit of equity there, but not enough.
Yeah,
it's not enough to save you. So I always sell the home as the last resort unless it's the problem, and it's not the problem here.
Okay.
Ratio wise, it's nothing compared to this other stuff. I mean, you have $330,000 in student loan debt, $200,000 on your house.
Right.
It's not the problem, and the credit cards are almost as much as a stinking house. So It's not the problem. So I don't think we got to sell it. You probably may need to sell a car. Not going to rush to do that. The big thing is just this shock to the system of your all's lifestyle, where you go from really living what we call in Tennessee high on the hog to you're going to be living beans and rice and beans. Your friends are going to think you've lost your mind, and your mother's going to think you need counseling.
Yeah, and we live with my parents now. After we got married, they offered us to stay with them to help us, with transitioning to new life, which has definitely been helpful. Renting out the
who's
condo.
Living in your house?
So I put my condo up for rent when I got engaged because I knew I wanted to save money for the wedding before we got married. So I had a renter in there the last year, actually looking for another renter. Lease ends in a month.
Oh, well, just sell it then. I thought you lived in it.
No, we don't live in it.
Oh, just sell it and put the $90,000 on your debt snowball.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need it. You're not going to move in it. Don't. You don't need to own it.
No, we're never going to live in it. It was one of those.
Yeah.
That was my first baby.
That's okay.
So now
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone though. You need the 90 grand to get a jump start on the rest of this. So that just got rid of a third of your deal.
Okay.
Right. So we're getting started. But did you feel that ouchie? I just pinched you. Did you feel the pinch? Ow.
So his solution sounds like it's organize smallest debt to largest debt and use debt snowball, which happens to be paying the smallest balance to the largest balance to get your wins throughout the process. That's what he likes to do. You know, if you pay off that $700 payday loan, cash advance, retail store credit card for Home Depot balance or something like that, you'll get a good feeling, and then you move on to the next biggest one and the next biggest one. So we have the value of the house, which turns out to be a condo that she's not even living in. They're living in his parents' house and they're renting it. Did you jot down all these numbers? Because we've got $180,000 in unsecured debt here.
I didn't jot them down, but my memory recalls most of the details.
What do you think of this?
Well, again, he hasn't done a dive into the financial picture, the budget, income. Like, he knows what their household income is. He doesn't know what their expenses are. But if they're living with their parents, and she said we did that to save money, that generally means they're not paying rent. If you're making $230,000 a year and you're not paying rent, and your rental income is likely covering your mortgage payment on the condo, there is a fundamental problem with their budgeting. And he hasn't gone through that yet. There's a systematic issue here that needs to be, determined, and we don't know what it is because the video doesn't go over what that situation might look like.
The way it looks to me is for them to have any chance of paying this off in 3 years, it's not possible, not with their income. Not a chance. Like, even if they live with their parents, they get rid of the car, they get rid of the condo, they pay the difference. And by the way, you don't have 90,000. I mean, if your condo is worth 300,000 on Zillow and your mortgage is 210,000, you don't have $90,000 left over. You pay a real estate commission, you pay land transfer taxes, you pay your real estate fees, you pay your lawyer fees. Your Zillow property value probably isn't accurate. Whatever money you have left over, let's call it 70 grand. Fine. That's something, but it's still not enough to like put a serious dent in this over the next 3 years. Even if you live like like you've got every dime accounted for and paid towards the debt, and the smallest to largest way, it just doesn't make any sense. I look at this and I probably wouldn't even recommend settling the debt. I'd probably say just go bankrupt. I mean, you got nothing to lose, right?
Well,
I don't know. What do you think?
You do lose the equity in the house. It would be
Not if you sell it.
Well, you can't sell. You can't dispose of an asset prior to going through bankruptcy. So they would make you pay in the value of the equity that you've materialized from the sale.
What's the period of time for that? Is it 2 years? Is it 1 year?
Here in Canada, they ask you if you've disposed of any assets within 12 months, and then again within 24 months. So they ask you the question twice. I don't know why there's a two timeline period, 12 and 24 months, but
you could technically sell the condo, pay down some of the debt, or settle some of the debt, if you wanted to, wait 2 years, and then, dispose of the rest of it either in a settlement or in a bankruptcy. But
yeah.
I mean, the car you can get rid of, right?
Yeah, the car you can get rid of. The condo, the mortgage is eliminated from a sale, which is simple, especially if you don't live in the condo. The issue is student loan. The credit card debt and the credit card, the line of credit, that is, I would say, easily eliminated through a settlement program or any type of elimination program. It's the student loans that seem to be killing this couple. It's like $300,000 of student loans, and to be honest with you, I don't understand.
35, but they probably aren't paying anything, if much, on it right now.
They got to be paying something. Their salaries are too high not to be paying something.
Yeah, they might have an interest only. They might have a very low interest rate, but it's not going to be like a high interest rate for something like that. It's going to be very reasonable.
And to be honest with you, when they said that they have advanced degrees to end up working for the government at roughly 115 each, is not something that I would have said is a wise decision to make. You don't incur $300,000 in student loans to make yourself 115 a year working for the government. That's not what I would say very sensible. You take an advanced loan to become a doctor, a lawyer, where a salary is basically, I wouldn't say capped, but it's can be upwards of $300,000-$400,000 a year.
What would this look like if you took it on and to settle the debt over 5 years? Keep in mind, it's $180,000 of unsecured debt. Like, what would that look like for monthly installments?
I can't use my phone because it would eliminate my camera access, but you're looking at probably.
Well, if we just take what, like, let's just
125,000 over 5 years. So if you take 125 divided by 60 months, what's that number?
$2,083 a month.
So roughly $2,000. The unsecured debt can be settled for approximately $2,000 a month, given those circumstances. And if they're making, sounds like they're clearing over $10,000 a month from their salaries, they shouldn't have an issue with the payment of $2,000.
Okay, so here's what my solution would be if our friend was on the phone right now. I can't remember her name, Cheyenne or something like that. Channing. Interesting name for a woman, Channing. Eh?
Yeah.
So here's what I would do. The way that I see it, you've got two options, and I'm using Canadian legislation to apply to this, and I know that the U.S. is slightly different, but it's not totally different. The settlement plan that she's in right now, I wouldn't pull out of that. That's the stupidest piece of advice I've ever heard this guy give. That's just dumb as shit. They've obviously got, if they onboarded her, and it's one of the legit companies, which probably it is, because let's be honest, they cleaned up the industry down there like 10 years ago. There's very, very, very few nefarious players. They've put legislation in place to protect consumers that are just ridiculous. They're super protective. So the chances of her dealing with an incompetent corporation in the States to settle debt is exceptionally low. There's that. I would stay in it and manage that. The idea of pulling out of that, organizing your debts from smallest to largest, and then tackling the smallest one to the largest while continuing to pay the absurd interest rates is not going to take 3 years. It's going to take well over a decade, in my estimation. I would do one of two things. I would sell the condo and then pay off the mortgage, and then you've got some cash there now. If you're going to go the bankruptcy route, wait the couple of years. And then you can either tackle the debt with a bankruptcy, or you can tackle the debt with a settlement. That's what I would do. And just get rid of the car loan. And I mean, for crying out loud, $230,000, and they've racked up $1 million by the age of like about 30 between the average of the two of them is just absurd. Yeah. It's just not good. The strategy to snowball it and just pay all the interest and tackle it from different, it's
the settlement plan. The settlement plan
does, Andrew, is that just shortens like their plan from 40 years, which is probably what it's going to take if she just throws a minimum installments at it, which it sounds like what they're doing right now. It's going to turn the plan from 40 years to maybe about 10 or 12 years, maybe 15 with that strategy. I'm just being honest.
Well, the thing that I'm not really digesting is she said the settlement program is for about 40,000. Well, her debts are way larger than 40 grand. So I'm not sure which debt she's enlisted into the settlement program. She could have enlisted a lot more of the debts into that program to get a lot more of the debts eliminated.
I think it's just the loan amount, because the loan amount was approximately 40.
Yeah, she said 40,000. So I think that might have been.
They just enrolled the $40,000 in loan debt,
but it's not the full
amount of credit card debt.
Yeah, that's my point.
And people do that, which is also another dumb move, is they think they can just put part of their debt into a settlement program. They're like, oh no, I got the rest of this. I'm just going to keep minimum monthly installments going on this because that makes me feel good, but it doesn't really do anything. There's a lot more questions I have to ask of this one, and we don't have a lot of time to dive into alternate avenues, given that we don't know everything about it. But on glance, bad advice from Ramsey, really bad advice from Ramsey. In fact, there's probably better strategies, which I think would include either an insolvency or a combination of insolvency, debt settlement, and selling the property. And of course, getting rid of the stupid car, because it's unnecessary to have a $45,000 car, especially if you live in DC. Right. You can probably get around with transit, especially if you work a government job. But anyway, there's a lot more to unpack with that. So we'll leave it at that. We'll come back with more of these. If you guys want to hear them, you can leave a comment below and let us know if you want to see us cover something else. If you're in Canada and you have unsecured credit card debt, in the ticker below, you can visit totaldebtfreedom.ca and learn how we work here to eliminate debt. Don't like this one bit. Anyway, final word from you, Andrew.
No, I don't have anything further to add to that. I agree. Although we did have some agreements with Ramsey, he did say to sell the condo, and he did say get rid of the vehicle. So we both agree with that.
Yeah.
But the strategy and the information that he's intaken to get some information to her or some advice to her was not sufficient. He did not get enough information to give her full, true advice or proper advice.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for hopping in. I'll see you next Saturday. I got to get a move on to get to my next show. We'll see you later, brother.
All right. Very good. Thank you very much.